don't need a pack. I need a Loosey, I don't need a pack. I need a Loosey. Up in the store like, yo, how it's going down? I need a Loosey now. After some good eats, after some good weed, after I get cheese, after a good freak. Woo, I need a Loosey. In and out, I get it to slide. Tootsie, drink with the cake, hustle like Boosie. I'm parking Versace, big with the Coogee. Lit in some movie, I light up after the phone. I need a bogey, get up a digger, my nigga. I need a Loosey. I only got $1, I need a Loosey. I don't need a pack, I need a Loosey. I need a bone, I need a bogey. I don't need a pack, I need a Loosey. I don't need a pack, I need a Loosey. I don't need a pack, I need a Loosey. Up in the store like, yo, how it's going down? I need a Loosey now. After some good eats, after some good weed, after I get cheese, after a good freak. Woo, I need a Loosey. In and out, I get it to slide. Tootsie, drink with the cake, hustle like Boosie. I'm parking Versace, big with the Coogee. Lit in some movie, I light up after the phone. I need a bogey.
Yo. I'm back. You know what it is. It's your boy Worldarama, Grindhardtvpodcast, me at S.STREET Media Studios. And you know what I'm saying? I got a special guest in here with me today. If y'all noticed, the song that I played to lead off the show is the lead single off the Loosey the movie soundtrack. It was produced and written, you know what I'm saying, by my guy GQ Beats. He's the one that's handling the whole soundtrack. And in the last couple scenes, well, throughout the movie, you're gonna see a lot of gun activity and police wear and different things of that sort. And the person that handles all of that and puts all that together for a lot of different movie sets and different things like that. And they have a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna get into everything today on Grindhard TV Podcast. We have the one, the only, James C.B Gray, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yo, look. Before I go into, you know what I'm saying, indulging in everything that he got going on, because I'm amazed at everything that he's involved in and shit like that. I just want to say, don't forget to pick up your Grindhard gear. You see I got the new jacket on right now. I got the jackets ready for y'all. We got the shirts. We got the hats. We got all that. We got this merch moving out here, and we want y'all to be, you know what I'm saying, support, buy it, wear it, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my distributor overseas. Shout out to my other guy that does embroidery for me out here in New York. And everywhere else I get anything done, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I want to get to my guests, and I want to say, you know what I'm saying, thank you for being here, my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Word up. So what do I call you? Do I call you James C.B Gray? Do I just call you James C.B? Like, what do you go by?
You know what? A lot of people call me Cool Breeze because that's what the CB stands for.
Oh, okay, Cool Breeze.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so James Cool Breeze.
Yeah, before I got with Reverend Al Sharpton's organization and before I became a politician, I was Cool Breeze. I was a film and television producer and promoter and everything. But I did a rebranding and, you know, just brought back my original name, but with the CB in the middle for those who knew me as Cool Breeze.
Right. That's like on Facebook. My name is Craig Worldarama Bryant.
Yeah.
And I got a page for Worldarama as well. But I just want to let everybody know that, you know what I'm saying, I'm Worldarama. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. And there was an artist named Cool Breeze back in the days. He had a fire song too.
Yeah, from he was with the Dungeon Family, Good Mob and all that. Yeah, from Atlanta. He had a hit.
So look, I want to get into first. You mentioned Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
And I just was looking at something online about Al Sharpton. You know what I mean? Because you know it's the whole political time. Yeah. It's actually, if y'all don't know, well, people that hasn't watched this later, because we live on a lot of other platforms. But it's November 3rd, and November 5th is when we'll know who the next president is going to be of the United States. If it's going to be Kamala, or if it's going to be Trump and shit like that. It's like whoever y'all vote for, whoever y'all running for, man, let's just hope this country could get better. You know, they say make America great again or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like right now, how do you feel about the country right now?
Well, statistically and realistically, we are in a worse predicament now than we were when Trump was in office.
Yes.
You honestly have to look at that, okay?
I'm glad you said that.
A lot of people don't want to look at that. And see, there's also like the Jedi mind trick going on right now.
Right.
Where they're trying to make it look like Trump messed up everything in the last 3.5 years, which actually he didn't.
Right.
All right. And listen, I'm a Democrat, okay? But I have some strong conservative views. Really.
So you're a conservative, actually. You're not really just a Democrat.
When I say that, strong conservative views, that deals with the family structure. That deals with the importance of understanding how that reflects on you as a person.
Right.
So when you talk about these trans people coming into the elementary school,
right, doing those dances and shit like that for little kids.
They're actually paying these trans people to come into the kindergarten classroom and read books. Those children need to see that what they need more than that. They need to see positive black male role models.
Right.
That's really what
not men dressed up in drag dancing and going down and splitting. Because I seen some of the stuff online, and they got little babies sitting around while these drag people is and drag means dude something as a girl.
Yeah. But the thing is this: those kids are not really listening to the books that are being read to them. They're really confused about why, this woman sounds like daddy. That confusion breeds even, more things. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against the LGBT community at all. My whole thing with that is I just think that they're targeting the children, and that's a very bad prospect. The most vulnerable time is early childhood, brain developmental process, but
isn't it like from 1 to 5?
Well, also in the mid-teens is another very vulnerable point too, because that's the time when these children they want to be accepted in the cool crowd, they want to be liked and everything, and they go above and beyond the call to be involved and to be accepted, right? And they're willing to do more things. So instead of telling the kid, okay, listen, you're going through a time when your hormones are going through the roof and everything. Right. That's why you're unstable. That's why things are going crazy with you. Just relax and try to deal with things the best you can. They'll say, oh, you're gay. And that's a false diagnosis a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? And then once again, this is not an attack on anybody like that. Right. I just think that kids need to be kids, man. Right. And and it said that we should even have to stress this. But I'm like, listen, just let kids be kids. Let children be children. Let boys be boys and let girls be girls. When they get to a point in life where they decide that's what they want to do, then they can make their decision on that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Well, this is my opinion on it, right? Yeah. Everybody always say, oh, they got nothing against gay people and all this and that. And theoretically, I don't either. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're trying to turn my son to be gay by constantly pushing your agenda on him, then I do have something against it. Because it seems like now with the gay community, they want everybody to walk on eggshells to appease them, to make them feel equal and everything like that. But yet, I'm not gonna dumb down my masculinity for you to feel important.
See, that's it, right? That's a big part of it, right? Yeah. We're going through a real serious agenda of emasculation, especially of the black men. Right. Okay. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yo, I'm saying this. Well, before we remember, we here for 2 hours. So before we get into everything that's going on with you, we talking about the election and everything, because that's the shit that's going on right now.
I could talk about anything.
Right, and you know what I'm saying. I don't want to get you in no trouble with any of your congregation or your peoples and all like that.
I'm like I said,
you're a fly guy too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I might say. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
Word up.
Listen, I know I could talk about anything because even in the proper like I said, I'm a Democrat. But there are some things that I don't agree with that the Democratic Party, endorses.
I think we all being raised as black middle class people in America, we were all pushed to be Democrats. Yes. But in all actuality, the Democratic Party was the party, which both parties were, but the Democratic Party was really the party that didn't want to end slavery. Exactly. They wanted to keep that free labor going. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Abraham Lincoln was bodied in that theater like that, in that fashion. They wanted to do that in a public forum fashion because he was trying to jam up the Deep South by trying to say, oh, let's free the slaves so he could jam up their economic advances because they making so much money off of these slaves. Our peoples, this country was built off of our ancestors' backs. Literally. And this is what a lot of people is not understanding with why so many people have problems with them letting 10 million migrants in with no type of documentation and giving them money. They're not even coming here just to try to work hard to try to get an opportunity. They're giving them everything. When black slaves, they were never given their 40 acres and a mule. Yeah. They were never given a handout. You know what they were given? They were given welfare to break up the family so they can stay under the fucking thumb of, you know what I'm saying? The white people in America. And it's a fact. That's a fact. There's so many statistics and evidence out there of it. You know what I mean? I remember even when we were younger, when I lived in the hood with my moms and we couldn't have, like her boyfriends couldn't stay at the crib. Yeah. Because I don't know my pops. That's another thing right there. Like the way crack came into the system and a whole bunch of shit happened. Either way, I don't know my pops, but I remember back in the days throughout all of the projects when it was white flight and white people were moving to Long Island and upstate Westchester and different places, and they was letting black people move into the projects and stuff like that. They were giving the women of the families the apartments and welfare and saying, as long as you don't have a man in the house, you can keep this apartment and we'll help assist in paying your rent. But you can't have a man there. So now where the fuck is all these men gonna go?
Now, you know what? People was asking me that question too. A lot of those men were like, you know what? I'm glad y'all got a place to stay. I'll be cool. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these brothers went into stages of depression because they wasn't able to support their family. They was embarrassed. A lot of them. They
were now no longer the heads of their household.
Yes, a lot of these brothers ended up being strung out on heroin, getting caught up in crime, getting caught up in the whole Rockefeller drug laws and all of these things. Biden
wrote.
Yeah,
the bill that Biden wrote was to send all of those black men to jail for long periods of time dealing with drugs. And some of them wasn't drug dealers, they were drug abusers because they didn't have nowhere to go and they was outside doing drugs and they had to do whatever little scams they had to do to get by while their women with the kids were given that apartment to live in that they couldn't be at. So they had to be out in the street finding a way. Some of them fell susceptible to being drug addicts or things of that sort. Some of them got caught with a little bag of little dope or crack or whatever, and they went to jail for long periods of time because of Biden's crime bill. That it was under Bill Clinton and all of that. Like a lot of people don't even understand. So we run around with this whole Democrat shit, but the Democrats were the main party that was to take the black community down. And I don't understand it. Like, it's weird to me, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. But you know, I don't want to get too political and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? We got James C.B. Gray in the building, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to talk to him, y'all can call up 516-540-1684. We in S.STREET Media Studios right now. We talking about a lot of different things. Now, I want to also get into, like, let everybody know what it is that you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you know what I'm saying? Get down to it. Like, let them know. Because I met you on the Loosey, the movie soundtrack, and you supplied all of the guns and the police props and everything for the set. So what is it that you do?
So let me tell you, when people ask that question, and now I could run down a whole list of things that I do.
Right.
And you can see on my
Instagram,
on my LinkedIn page.
Right, LinkedIn.
My resume is like 8 pages long.
Right.
You know, so I can, even if I wanted to, I have to chop it down. The more effective approach for that question is a lot of times, like specifically talking about music, then I'll say, oh, if we're talking about music, yeah, I used to be an A&R, I used to be an executive in the music industry.
Right.
You know, Russell Simmons Music Group, Warner Brothers, Sony. You know, I was work under Kurt Lightburn and Mark Pitts up at Sony for years. You know, but and I started off as a professional drummer. You know, played with a lot of major artists, did a lot of live studio percussion on a couple of tours, but playing drums for artists helped me to network my way into the business side.
Right.
Which you know, eventually I became an executive and started really working in music behind the scenes and working with artists and helping them get deals and structure situations and things like that. Then after that opened doors for what I did in television and film.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So basically I've held executive position in every level of the industry, film, fashion, music, and television, which then gave me the platform to create a company where I became an industry executive consultant. You know, so I can give you advice on how to succeed in every level of the industry as an industry executive consultant. Right. You know, and that's just one side of it. You know, professional actor, Screen Actors Guild for 25 years.
Yeah, I'm looking at your link tree right now, and it's saying everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're on Twitter, you're on IMDb,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Your LinkedIn page, Facebook, you know what I'm saying? Your Instagram, all that.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Good? Yeah. And then to say the hip hop fraternity CEO.
Yeah.
And I seen that when I posted the clip, the advertisement of you being here, you practically broke that down. But like let everybody know again, like what's that all about?
Okay, so the hip hop fraternity is first of all, it's a think tank.
Okay.
And there's not many times where you're gonna have the word think involved with a black institutional organization or company. So this is one of the things that we always trying to influence members of the hip hop fraternity and anybody in general, is to think. You know, just for instance, before you pull that trigger, you might want to think about if you're willing to do 25 years in prison.
Right.
That's a very serious decision you're gonna have to make based on the consequences of your actions.
Right.
So even in our case with the hip hop fraternity, we gather information and we also create the think tank structure, which gives people the opportunity not only to think about where we're going with this, but to be objective and involved with our agenda moving forward. So the hip hop fraternity is also a sorority as well.
For women
so
as
we
well.
have males and females. So
Okay.
a lot of times we just it's a lot of feminists. Oh wait, why is there ain't no females? I said hold on.
It's always like that.
The word fraternity we used just to symbolize camaraderie and brotherhood, and sisterhood. So it's not like, oh, this is only a male thing. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of females that hold leadership positions in the hip hop fraternity. I met our national vice president, Mallory. She's down in Atlanta, and she's a female. She's been one of our founding members, very diligent, very progressive. And
now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know what I'm saying, it would be okay if you answer this if you know it or not. But is she a straight female or is she?
Yeah, she's straight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you know sometimes we have a lot of people that's representing the females and they're really not. Not to say that a lesbian female is not really a female, but sometimes the butch women in the community, they be having different views.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Views and agendas.
Yes.
I've seen that a lot too.
You know what I'm saying? That's what that whole Black Lives Matter movement with the lesbian ladies that started that and everything like that.
That was a whole situation. Like it literally went from the nuclear black family to now trans and LGBT all of that, was it $80 million was chopped up. Some of it went to Biden's campaign.
Right.
Some of it, the rest of it went to LGBT and trans organizations.
Yep.
How did all that happen when the basis of the whole objection was a black man
being killed by white
police?
cops?
So how the hell is his family about to get evicted from a house right now?
Exactly.
And $80 million was raised.
Yep, but a lot of them put that money in their pocket. And a lot of that, I'm pretty sure a lot of that money from that Black Lives Matter organization, which was funneled into the LGBTQ community.
George Soros was involved with that too. And the whole Antifa thing. And see, that's why when they mention black, I said, don't mention that name to me whatsoever because they have still not answered crucial questions. How the hell are they going around buying mansions and throwing all these LGBT high-profile parties? But the family and the objection of this whole situation is being about to be evicted. Don't have no money.
And for instance, George Floyd was killed wrongfully by this cop, and them motherfuckers went to jail. So why hasn't his family been paid already?
Yo,
that's weird to me. Like where the money at that they're supposed to go to them? And all this Black Lives Matter money that was raised, why isn't a big portion of that going to George Floyd's family? Exactly. That's what I don't understand. And it's like I was about to say, I'm sure a lot of that money was paid to a lot of these different schools and stuff like that to coerce them, to let them have these drag people go to schools and be doing all that fucking gay dance and shit for these kids. These is little babies. Why would you want to do the drag queen dances for the kids? The shit that I'll be seeing online, like why? What part of education is that? You just trying to educate them that these is men that can dress like women and dance like this and split and all of that with heels and makeup on and it's okay? Why y'all trying to make the kids realize that this is so okay at a young age? It's an agenda here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they want us men to dumb down our masculinity. That's kind of one of the reasons why I feel like they had Barack Obama campaigning so hard for Kamala and speaking to the black men. Because it's so backwards about the shit.
That was real disrespectful.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, speak on it, brother.
Extremely disrespectful on Barack Obama's behalf. I'm going to tell you why. He never singled out Asians,
Nope.
whites, Jewish, nobody else except black men.
Yep.
Not only, he never even addressed the fact that black men might have an issue. He came down on them,
Yep.
unwarranted, and trying to scold them. And it's equivalent to the same thing Biden did. When Biden came on to the Breakfast Club, he said, yo, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I don't know how the hell nobody, even Charlemagne could have really hit that heads on, but he didn't.
Yeah, you notice that? Because Charlemagne is always a person that's addressing it and coming at somebody with something, but he let that shit fly.
He let that slide, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But what Obama did now, Obama also went over to Africa and was trying to give them these African countries a lot of money, but they had to sign off on this agenda too, because he's seen that.
Nah, but I heard that the black leaders over there in Africa, they was like, nah, get the fuck out of here with that. They wasn't with that. They was like, nah, you're not gonna push this gay shit over here with us. We not jacking that. We ain't jacking that at all. And Kamala Harris was out her same mouth. She said, "Oh, I'm not gonna do anything for black people specifically."
Okay,
but yet you're doing stuff for everybody else.
I posted that on my page, right? And like I'm a Democrat, and a lot of people that know that I'm a Democrat, they say, "Yo, man," and my thing is, it's not even about me. It's about you looking at what she just said. Like, she clearly said, "I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people." And I posted the video where Dr. Umar Johnson came right behind her and said, "Now you heard what she said out of her own mouth.
Correct.
I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people." And he pinpointed how her and President Biden specifically did something for LGBT community. They specifically did something for the Jewish community. They specifically did something for the migrants, and they specifically did something for the Asians. And what they did for the Asians is crazy, because a year and a half of backlash over this COVID thing, and they were able to get a protected class understanding, which protected them. How long have black people been getting killed by cops and everybody else? And since
police was started.
And we're still not a protected class of people.
Yep, but she's not going to do anything specifically for black people, but everybody want to pass off the fact that she's the black woman that's running and all that. Listen. But yet, I work with a lot of Indians in my job, and they don't identify as black. So her mom's is a straight Indian type of Bangladeshian type of woman. They do not identify as black. I work with a lot of Guyanese people. And I mean the Indian ones. And I speak to them every day. I've been on my job for 18 years. They do not identify as black. They identify as Indian. That's it. I don't give a fuck how dark skinned they are. They do not say that they are black. And I know Kamala was raised the same way. That's it. That's a fact.
No, but there's a group of Indians in India called the Dravidians, and these are like the darkest ones. They treat these people so damn bad. We rarely even hear about them, because they never let them be seen on camera unless they're going into the slums. Right. Like, you'll never see one of these guys representing India. These guys are darker than us. Yep. They're called the Dravidians, and these people they call the untouchables. Google that. Indian Dravidians, untouchables. They call them the untouchables because nobody want to deal with them. They don't even accept these people. This is in India. So just imagine. And I'm going to tell y'all, you ever seen Indian people writing tickets?
Yeah, they all run that shit.
You know why they run that shit? You know why they run that? Because those guys, they don't care they'll write their mother ticket. They don't care. Unless
you run down on them. If they going up to your car and you run down on them and stop them, then they don't want no confrontation.
They have a history of being racist amongst themselves, let alone anybody else.
You said Dravidians?
Yeah.
Dravidians.
The caste system, they call the untouchables.
All right, so let me see.
It's a G-R.
What, untouchables?
Oh, I thought you were typing.
I was at, Gravidians.
Untouchables, and yeah, right there, India. Untouchables, India, right there.
Okay, boom. All right. So look, this is the term for the untouchables in India is Dalit, a term that the community has chosen for itself. The word Dalit comes from the Sanskrit word Dalita, which means divided, split, broken, scattered. In the 19th century, the word was used to describe people who were not of the 4 Varnas in the Hindu caste system.
Caste, yeah. So the caste system was it's kind of like segregation. You know what I'm saying? And it would single out the darks, the lights.
Right.
If you look at Bollywood, you can clearly see the how the caste system works. Because there's a certain, like these untouchables, you'll never see them on TV.
Right.
Unless they go into the slums with these cameras. And see, that's a whole nother racial system internally in India that, you know, they're dealing with. So once again, let alone outside of that, when they're dealing with black people, we just as bad as those untouchables to them.
Right.
And they don't even want to talk about it, especially not in this whole election, because it reflects bad. Look, they showed a picture. They said, oh, you know, Kamala Harris, she worked at McDonald's when she was in college. They just found out that picture was photoshopped.
See?
You know, and that's very unforthcoming.
And even her grandmother, the black grandmother that she was standing with, she wasn't even alive when her grandmother was alive.
She told a lie about that, you know.
Oh, so now she then came clean off the shit.
She had to though, because they're exposing it.
You know who?
Candace
Owens blowing her up.
Yo, I love her.
She blowing. Yo, people was dissing Candace Owens, but she is the truth, bro. Like everything she's saying be facts. They don't like the truth always turns a person as like the bad guy.
Yeah.
The truth hurts everybody. Because Candace Owens, if you ever watch my show, I love you. Yeah. And I love what you're doing for the people and the truth. It's not even just about for black people. You are speaking the truth. The people need to know the truth. Yeah. And that's just what it is.
You know what? That's one thing that I'm about. The truth. Some people might not like what I'm saying, but everything I'm saying is rooted in facts and it's the truth. And we can't, if you got somebody that can't deal with the truth, that's a whole nother situation on them.
Right.
You're gonna have to be able to deal with truth in order to understand and grow as a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when it comes to your character.
Right.
And when we talk about accountability, at least to thyself be truthful. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's so important, and it really reflects on the level of people's character and understanding when it comes to accountability. So I'm always encouraging people to deal with things in a realistic form, because guess what? If we don't deal with these issues right now, we're going to be dealing with them for the next 4 years on a whole nother level.
I can tell you right now, from what I've been doing my little research on and everything like that, if Kamala Harris wins, we're screwed. See, everybody's saying that they're worried about Trump winning because it's going to give white people more power to do wild shit. But white people already been feeling like they're superior in this country already. But for Kamala to get in and for other countries to look at us as weak, that's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother ball game. This will mean that all of the migrants and the people, the foreigners that been here, that's already embedded and deep in America's system already, they can now really start infiltrating, because they know that they don't look at women as a source of power. Yeah. They don't. Some countries look at women as
second class.
Exactly.
Like, literally. So now check this out. If you look at some of these things that have really developed during the course of this time.
Right.
When you got, remember when the migrants started coming over here?
Right.
They said that it was 3 to 4 different classes of people that didn't have to take the vaccine. Migrants are one of them.
Right.
The other one was Chinese students. Then a lot of the Jews were getting over with these religious exemption and things like that.
Yep. Because no Jews was forced to wear masks.
Yeah.
I remember riding around, because I'm an essential worker. Yeah. So I never had to stay in my house and nothing like that. Mm-hmm. So I would ride around in certain areas, and when I would go through Williamsburg, Jews still had their schools open. They had their shit was flourishing. All of their stores was open. It was like regular time. So when I would go to the black community and I would see cops coming around forcing people to put on masks and pulling over everybody like, yo, where's your mask? Where's your mask? So I asked a cop one day, I was in East New York. Cop came over and they was like, well, look, we don't want to cause any problem with what y'all doing over here, but we don't see nobody with mask on. I said, you know what, officer? It's so strange, because I just drove through Williamsburg yesterday and I seen Jews and their kids running around freely like it was normal, regular day when everybody else is shut down. And I didn't see no cops saying anything to the Jews about their whole neighborhood being running free, like as if there wasn't even no type of COVID going on.
They was having weddings.
Yes.
When they were supposed to be
quarantined.
All right, I showed a picture of Harlem. a park that had the gate on around a chain around the gates.
Yep.
Then I showed a picture of downtown, in was it off the West Side Highway? I forgot the name of that park. But yo, it looked like a summer day with all these people out. And I said, wow, look at the double standard here.
Yep.
See, that's some of the things that we got to look at. The double standard all across the board. All right. When we got these people coming in here, they did a whole survey on how there was a request in black neighborhoods to find money to renovate these schools so they can open up new charter schools. The New York City said, yo, we don't have the budget. We can't do it. 6 months later, they found some money to turn those vacant schools into places that these immigrants can live in.
Yep, because some schools now are like shelters now.
Yeah. And if you look at the hotels, the schools, they're even telling people, yo, if you have an extra room in your house.
Yep, we'll give you some finances to put some migrants in there.
Where is the same energy with that initiative to change the circumstances of black and brown people that have been in line
Because it's not
for years? That's one thing.
That's
one thing that I don't agree with, and I think that we need to be more vocal about. One thing I like about Chicago, they're having these conversations in city council. They're having these conversations, at the Capitol, and they're really vocal about it. And guess what? Things are starting to change. But if we don't have a national referendum invoking the same thing, because guess what? Every nationality, every demographic of people that comes to Kamala, well, matter of fact, other way around. When Kamala comes to the Jewish community, when Kamala comes to the LGBT community, you know what happens?
She laughs.
Well, no. What happens is they got bags full of money. Mm-hmm. And they say, okay, we got some money for you. We got your votes, but this is what we need first. We need your commitment that you're going to do this, this, and that for us. Mm-hmm. And she says, you know what? You got my commitment, because she want that money.
Right.
Now, the African-American demographic, okay, look, I need y'all to step to the side while the LGBT and the Jews, we talk about the money that they got for me.
See?
And guess what? Y'all, don't worry, y'all going to get the scraps. Y'all going to get the leftovers. And guess what? A lot of times that's what happens. So I said the only way that we can overcome this kind of situation that's been going on for the last 50 years is we have to come to the table with money, power, and respect. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, this is the reason why I'm launching the Hip Hop Fraternity Political Action Committee.
Okay.
This right here is going to help us to have a seat at the table, a voice, and it's also going to help us have a stake in the referendum and the resources. Okay? So you can't get our votes, you can't get our money until we have an agreement, an understanding on what you can do for us, a guarantee.
Right.
Okay.
Because the hip hop community is so influential.
And look,
we can do a lot.
If you look at what I said on the Breakfast Club, I talked about how the hip hop voting bloc has potential to be the strongest voting bloc in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's just not centralized and it's not organized enough to work for us. Mm. You know why? They'll take Jay-Z, they'll take Beyonce, they'll take Nas,
Cardi B.
They'll take Cardi B, they'll take Sexy Red, and they'll say, yo, look, we need y'all to tap dance for this political event. Yep. But they never asked them, what are your views on politics? How do you feel about this? You know why? Because they can't take a chance of one of those artists speaking collectively as a person for the people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They don't want to know what you think. They just want you to tap dance and perform for the blacks.
I just seen Cardi B doing her little speech about Kamala Harris, and it seemed like more if she just was on some women power shit.
No. Listen, check this out. I'm gonna send you a video. Mm-hmm. If you look in, right before Cardi B started speaking, right, she realized that the teleprompter was broken.
So she went to her
phone.
So
she tried to act like, okay, I'm scared, I'm nervous. No, she wasn't nervous at all. The teleprompter wasn't working properly for her to say what she had to say. Mm-hmm. So now what she did was she started, hey, how y'all doing today? To try to buy some time. And guess what? The lady came and handed her a cell phone, which she read the prepared statement, the prepared script off of the cell phone. Okay? If you look at it again, you'll see what I'm saying.
Okay. Now, because I've seen her read it off the phone.
If that came from her heart, she wouldn't need no teleprompter or no cell phone.
Right.
She had to really reach down. She had to talk about what they wrote in there was, the immigrant thing. And that's for us to accept what's going on right now more. Mm-hmm. All right? There's nothing worse than us being in a situation where we have no resources available, we're being overlooked and stepped over. All right? They right now in the process of trying to get these immigrants. What country can you go to and say, I'm not a citizen, but I want to vote?
Yep.
They say, man, are you damn crazy? You haven't paid no taxes in this country and you trying to come here trying to vote? They'll look at you, they'll say, you know what, get him out of here. He doesn't understand how this works. But guess what? America is one of those places now where you're going to be able to do that. And now, once again, I'm not trying to take nothing away from nobody. But if we don't stand for anything, if we allow ourselves to be railroaded, there's resources that we are directly entitled to. How come Kamala can't talk about reparations right now? That's a major factor too.
Yeah, because why is everybody else getting money and getting? Like, how come migrants come here and they all getting? That's reparations. They coming here and they getting money. They getting like $3,000 on these cards. They're getting thousands of dollars in food stamps. They living in these luxurious hotels. Even if it ain't luxurious, they still don't gotta pay nothing. That is reparations for the people that built this country. I'm sorry, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? My ancestors built this country. Like, a lot of this stuff was built off the blacks of our ancestors, and we still are treated like we're not even human. You feel me? And it's, how could you let other people come here and you give them everything? Like, let alone the veterans that fought in wars for this country.
I'm a veteran. Okay,
there you go.
So I don't, what I really try not to do, I try not to get emotional, but guess what? I trace my family history back to slavery. My great-great-great-grandfather was a slave.
Of course, all of ours were.
He was on a roll of original slaves who are entitled to reparations, which means that if it came down to it, I would get that.
Right.
But I'm not doing this for that. But what I am doing is raising the issue because the Jews got reparations.
Everybody.
The Indians got reparations. There's the Japanese got reparations. I got a whole long list of people that got reparations from the United States.
And even the Venezuelans coming here, they getting reparations. Because if you notice, it's not just Venezuelans. It's mainly Venezuelans, but it's a lot of Africans too that came in from Africa that came through Mexico as well to come here. Because it's not just Venezuelans I see standing outside of a Home Depot and all that. It's a lot of Africans. But I noticed the African guys that's out there, they're not getting pulled in to do a lot of work like the Venezuelans and the Mexicans.
They're not getting a lot of resources either. Okay, yeah. Look what happened right before this whole migration happened. The whole Haitian thing that went down.
Yep, they sent them back.
They was on horses with whips. Nobody want to talk about that. I got the pictures. Okay, and they treated those Haitians totally different from the Spanish.
Yep.
Okay, the Mexicans. And now look at El Salvador. They emptied out 2 prisons in El Salvador
and sent them here.
They gave them an ultimatum: either go to the United States or you stay in prison. Both of those prisons are empty.
Yep.
Now
they don't even have like a prison system problem because all of their criminals are here.
But guess what? If I was a registered sex offender, thank God I'm not, I would be mad as hell. You know why? There's over 5,000 sex offenders from those countries who are walking around here in the United States that are unregistered.
They're gonna start doing shit.
That is?
They're doing shit now. Matter of fact.
And once again, this is not a witch hunt. We're just bringing the facts to the table.
Yeah, the truth. Okay? And the truth gonna hurt some people.
And if we can't deal with the facts, if we can't deal with the truth, then who are we really, and what do we stand for? And I'm saying this to you because I am a Democrat who's mad about a lot of things that are not being done properly.
He's a Democrat that's mad at the Democrats. How about that?
And I could have said, "Yo, forget that. I'm a Republican," but no, I'm still a Democrat. But what I'm just trying to figure out.
I think we're Democrats just because we're black middle class people in America. They jumble everybody that's black and middle class as Democrats because that's what we were all brainwashed to believe that we are. But in all actuality, before the Democratic Party was started, everyone was a Republican.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? The Republicans, once again, freed the slaves. Once again, were the They were the progressive, party a long time ago, and then they kind of flipped at a certain point.
Yeah, because once it was time to start letting the slaves go free, the Democratic Party was started to go against it.
Yeah,
and this is how the police was formed.
The slave catchers.
That's what they were. Police was actually the slave catchers. That's what they were. And this is why laws like no loitering, no soliciting, no indecent exposure, no shit like that, because they knew that these slaves were now free after years of being, and generations of being slaves.
Hold on. But look, now, there was a crucial time in between all that a lot of people don't really highlight, right? Once slavery ended, now you have all of these black people who are now free people.
With nowhere to go.
But guess what? They had all the skills. Because the white man didn't know how to do nothing but keep slaves.
Right.
All the bricklayers, all the carpenters, they were all black.
Right.
So now you have a major push to teach white people how to do all this stuff. And you know what they did? They rounded up a whole bunch of ex-slaves who are now free to teach them how to do these trades. And then immediately the workers' unions were created. Specifically to keep the blacks from working and unionize and organize the whites.
After we had to teach them motherfuckers how to do
Exactly.
shit. And that's what I always was saying. Like, how could white people have looked at black slaves as less than when black slaves were the ones doing everything? They were raising their kids. Yeah. They were feeding them. Even some ladies were breastfeeding children. And I don't understand how the fuck a black slave would have breast milk and it's not even their kid. But they were breeding these slaves so much that black mothers, like they'll call them Aunt Your Mamas back then. Yeah. The Aunt Your Mamas had breast milk because they were always having babies. Even what they were doing, they was breeding slaves to make babies for gator bait.
Yeah, literally.
Like literally giving, like making gators come out the swamp with babies there so they can kill them, and sometimes just throwing the babies to the gators. We were treated so horrific, so horrific. It was bad, and it's like I feel like a lot of people should be just happy that we just want equality and we want our 40 acres and a mule, as opposed to us wanting revenge.
Now that's like, what they was really scared of for a long time. Is that we were going to raise up and seek revenge. Now, if you ever look at, because I'm also an African-American historian too. I don't know if you looked at my page, every single day I post a Black History fact of the day. Okay, and I've been doing that for 13 years. Every 365 days a year. Wow. So I have a 365-day campaign of Black history. You know why? Because a black child that knows his history has a heightened self-esteem level, and that self-esteem level gives them a sense of pride. And when a black child has a sense of pride, they're less likely to be a pregnant teen, a dropout, and end up in the criminal justice system. All these things are now a lesser possibility because this black child takes pride in who they are and the people that came before them. Now, that pride factors into the family structure as well. So that's a major component, is the family structure. Right. But I'm teaching Black history online because that's where the children are. That's where the teens are. That's where the youth are. So many people hit me up every day like, oh my God, my kids love your Black history facts, because it gives them a sense of pride when they know that somebody black created this. Right. Somebody black did that.
And it's everything.
Yeah, we literally created everything. And you know why? If you look at the patent system, right? Right. Back in the days, in order to have a patent, you had to register it through the patent company. Right. Did you know how many white people stole their slaves' patents? Yep. But what you really got to look at is this. White people were not interested in making things easier for slaves.
No, they were not. They didn't even want, like, even though they knew, like, let's say, all right, let's theoretically speak, Jim Bob, right, a slave owner. Yeah. And then he got Kunta or whatever as his slave, right? Now, him and Kunta got a really good relationship because Kunta's doing everything for him.
Oh yeah, everything.
He's doing everything for him. But then when he realizes that Kunta has that type of skill and that know-how to make his family money, he feels like since he owns Kunta, that is not Kunta's no more. So if Kunta figured out how to make something to better his tractor or anything like that, now that's his invention.
Exactly.
So he's gonna go and patent that and put it on there. So just think about how many inventions was made that Johnson & Johnson had patented. Now they're still getting money off of all royalties, these generations.
All that, and
everything.
So now look, if you look at today's Black History fact, on this day, November 3rd in the year 1868, John Willis Maynard was elected to Congress in Louisiana 2nd District. Maynard's election victory over a white candidate was boycotted by whites, and he was never seated. So this black man won the election in 1868, right after slavery ended. Yep. And they not only didn't acknowledge him, they didn't seat him, So it's like it never happened.
Yep.
So just imagine that happening today. You know what I'm saying? This black man, he proved them, in a real process of election that he could win. They acknowledged, okay, he won, so what? We ain't even got to set him. We don't have to honor this. You see what I'm saying? That's just the level of disrespect that was going on. That's today's Black History Fact. Chronologically, I do this every single day.
Right.
And you'll see, if you go to my Instagrams, Facebook, Twitter.
You got a lot of stuff on here.
James C.B. Gray, all across the board, you'll see a little known Black History Fact every single day.
Y'all can follow him on Instagram, James C.B. Gray. That's with an A.
Yeah, Gray.
Gray. You know what I'm saying? And he's right here. I'm going through his page right now, looking at it.
And there's
a lot of stuff on there, man.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of stuff on
there. That's on Halloween.
This one? Oh, okay. That's what y'all. All right. Yeah. That's what's up. Black Panthers.
Now, that's my Halloween costume every year because my father was a real Black Panther in real life.
So you know exactly who Sonny Carson is then?
Yeah, listen. The education of Sonny Carson, we was fighting to get the street named after him, but they said no because he was a felon and all this stuff. But
that's bullshit. So look at all of the felons they name blocks after now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Sonny Carson. If y'all don't know Sonny Carson, it was a guy who came up with the slogan, "No justice, no peace." You know what I'm saying? He was definitely affiliated.
And that's Reverend Sharpton's slogan now.
Yeah, but they got it from Sonny Carson.
But look, the crazy part is the education of Sonny Carson was a very crucial movie because there was a guy named Eric Monte that saw that movie, and he was with a Jewish producer. I forgot his name. And this Jewish producer said, see, that's Black culture. That's the Black community. And he said, well, you know what? That's one element of it. That's one view of it.
Right.
Because that's New York City. He said, I'm from Chicago. I'm from Cabrini Green Projects. And
I heard of that.
I could show, that was the most notorious projects in Chicago. And Eric Monte said, I can show you an amazing story of Black community from where I came from as a child. So Eric Monte took this, producer, and he took him to a studio. He wrote out like his whole life story. That life story became the movie Coolie High.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now check this out. In the movie Coolie High, there's a dude named Preach who's like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna be the first Black writer in Hollywood." And he goes through the whole movie, and his boy, Cochise, dies in the movie. Right. And at the end, they play It's So Hard to Say Goodbye, and everybody cried during that part.
Right.
But Coolie High was such a pivotal movie because Eric Monte was the real life person that the character Preach was patterned after. So in real life, Preach ended up making it to Hollywood. And that's when he met with Norman Lear. And
Norman Lear is the guy that came up with the Jeffersons, Good Times, all that.
No, listen.
That was Norman Lear.
No. Eric Monte wrote all that.
But that's what I'm saying.
And
Norman
he stole
Lear,
it.
Exactly.
He stole it from Eric Monte. So he gets out to California and starts writing everything. He met Lionel from Good Times, who was on a show called Maud first.
Right.
And he said, yo, man, listen, I heard that you're a good writer. I want you to write a synopsis for a TV show where I'm in it. And then I'll take it to Norman Lear, and I will get it done. And that's what he did. He wrote the Jeffersons' first episode, and it was the pilot.
Right.
That eventually, but Norman said, "Oh, nobody's gonna, believe a Black man calling a white man a hunky. This will never fly." But guess what? It did work.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And I'm talking about Eric Monte because I don't think enough people are talking about him. Norman Lear just died with a legacy as a billionaire. Eric Monte right now is living in a homeless shelter.
Yep, I seen that.
Nobody is even. This brother was really the first Black legitimate writer in Hollywood.
Yep.
Okay, and he doesn't have a leg to stand on. You know why? Norman Lear blackballed him and stole all of his materials. And
that's just like the lady who wrote Terminator and
you know what? Sophia Stewart.
Yes.
I was on the phone with her for 7 hours. Okay.
I know that was a good conversation.
No, that conversation. She told me that Third Eye was supposed to be 10 sequels. Everybody Black. And she said, Jesus Christ was even in that thing. That's how crazy it was. It was really elaborate. And the thing is, first of all, they couldn't understand how Black women from the Bronx could even write something so elaborate.
Right.
She took it to Warner Brothers. Oh, we can't do nothing with it, but we got somebody that might be interested. She gave them the script. A couple years later, she's sitting in the movie theater, and she starts bugging out like, yo, this is my shit. And she's like, yo, she went to a lawyer. They ended up like literally buying a lawyer out and embarrassing her to the point where it looked like she was crazy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Long story short, they ended up taking all the Terminators and all the Matrixes.
Yep.
Making all of those
Sequels and all the things.
based on a film called Third Eye, a script called Third Eye. And once again, they and I got 1,000 stories like this. And going back to stealing from black people.
Yo,
and
even in the music industry, it's the same way.
Man, that's a whole
We've been getting robbed. So the thing about it is this. Us as black people are so innovative, so fucking much, so much so warriors, so brilliant, intelligent. But yet, back then, white people didn't look at us even as human beings. We were property to them.
Oh, no, hold on. We're still 3/5 of a man.
In the Constitution.
The 3/5 clause is still upheld, okay? And for those who don't know what that means, and it was based around the voting prospect. So it would take 5 black votes to equal 3 in that context, which would bring it back to the 3/5 clause. And I was talking to a brother, Andy Green, former councilman from the Bronx.
Right.
He's one of the few people that had the balls to say, we got to deal with this issue.
Right.
Right after he proposed to try to deal with that issue, all this scandal came up about him and sexual harassment and all this stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't, I can't get into it, but it's just a coincidence how all of this stuff pops up when he's trying to right a wrong that's been uncorrected for so long.
Right.
So the 3/5 clause is still standing. And there's a lot of jurisdictional prudence that is overlooked in the boundaries because they, once again, like the Willie Lynch syndrome, there's no laws that a white man is bound to respect when it comes to a black man. You see what I'm saying?
So wouldn't that be like a smack in the face when Obama's coming up here talking about black men? You need to vote her in. You need to make sure that you vote for her. Like, why?
So listen, if you can't, once again, he can't do that without singling out other demographics. That was a totally one-sided issue, and it's an unwarranted guilt trip. Okay, unwarranted. Never did he say, "Well, black brothers, what's going on? Well, let's have a conversation about why but those questions were never asked. Automatically, they're going into making us feel bad, making us feel guilty, making us feel ashamed. All right. Everybody has the right to vote how they want to.
Right.
And with that understanding, you can't tell somebody how to vote.
Right.
You can't make somebody feel bad about them placing a vote the way they want to.
But that's basically what he's doing.
Exactly.
Telling you like, y'all black men, y'all need to vote for her. But yet she gets on a major platform and says, no, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. So why the fuck do we need to vote for her?
And that's what a lot of people are saying. You know
what else I want to say? So Barack Obama gets up there and says how black men need to vote for this woman, right? I don't believe that she identifies as a black woman, period. And also, when Barack Obama was running for president, because he did 2 terms, he did 8 years, right?
Yeah.
He chose Biden as his running mate. At that time, Kamala Harris was running as, to be in that position as well. He could have chose her to be his running mate.
Yeah.
You didn't.
He didn't.
You chose the white man that actually wrote a crime bill that sent most of your peoples to jail after Reagan and y'all brought in matter the drugs that y'all brought into the country.
Oh, yeah. The Ron Contra scandal.
Yeah, you go.
I don't think a lot of people really understand.
Elaborate.
What that
Let them
was
know,
about.
because I know.
Special shout out to my brother, Freeway Ricky Ross.
Okay, the real one.
Yeah, he's actually on.
Not the rapper.
Yeah, Freeway Ricky Ross is actually a board member of the hip hop fraternity.
Oh, okay.
And we're actually going to produce his documentary next. Crazy, he's going to go down. So
I thought that show Snow was about him.
Snowfall. Well, you know what happened? When I talked to him about it, he told me that it was about him. And
did he get any money off of that?
What's his name? The director,
I'm not
John
sure.
Singleton.
Oh yeah, he
John
died.
Singleton came to Freeway Ricky Ross, and so he brought him to the table, but they said that the studio said, okay, listen, John, you want to get paid or you want him to get paid? And we kind of see how it transpired, because at that point, that's when he started changing things around.
Right.
He went from like a bald head to now a head full of hair.
Right.
But
you know what? That's crazy.
Everybody already knew.
So you saying John Singleton was sold him out for his own?
Yeah, and he even said it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And rest in peace to John Singleton.
Yeah.
You know, but
is he really rested in peace knowing that he got this hit series out that he kind of stole from his brother, man?
He had a great opportunity to do the right thing, and he didn't, you know, unfortunately.
He could have still gave him portions of whatever he earned from it, but having this guy tell the true story. Like, Snowfall is a good show because I watched it. I binge watched it, and I seen the whole thing, and it was definitely similar to what was really happened from Freeway Ricky Ross' story. So why couldn't he be involved in that and you get all of the real intel from him and break him off? Yeah. You didn't have to bump him out for you to keep your check and do what you need to do. But you know what? There's a lot of house niggas out here, boy. And they'll sell their own people through the roof to get where they need to be. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, Freeway Ricky Ross got caught up in, you know what? Y'all got to watch a movie called Kill the Messenger.
I heard of that.
That's the story about the journalist who broke the story about the Iran Contra scandal, which eventually created the momentum that got exposed the story of the CIA coordinating this whole drug operation, you know, with the Contras and Nicaragua, Manuel Noriega. Right. So they basically came to a point where they said, okay, listen, President Reagan went to Congress and said, okay, we need $1 billion to fight this war on the Contras. Mm-hmm. Congress said, yo, that ain't got nothing to do with us, man. Exactly. We're not giving you no $1 billion. So he's like, okay. So then he went to CIA and said, okay, listen, y'all get the money however you want to get it. And they said, for real? Yeah. However y'all got to get the money. They said, okay. And they already knew how to do it. So they're the ones who went into action. Oliver North, who's now the president of the National Rifle Association. All this stuff is crazy, but it transpired. But the worst part was how they made it look like this one black man
was the guy that brought all of the drugs into Cali. And they sent him to jail. How long he did? How much time he did? Like 20 something
years. But the thing is, if you look at it, this was the first time where a person who got convicted based on a testimony of somebody above him. So that's like, usually, it's the opposite. It's the other way around. Right. Like the smaller person rats on the big homie, right. Or the kingpin.
But the big homie wanted the young black man to take the fall.
And he was rotting in jail for years while people were, and the guy who broke the story, the journalist, they killed him. How are you gonna shoot yourself in the head twice?
Exactly.
Okay, twice. If it was once, twice. All right, and they showed it in the movie how he was killed. But for so long, they didn't want to talk about that because it went to a deeper rabbit hole that opened up a bunch of can of worms.
Yo, you know what's so crazy about America, man? And I ain't gonna front, I be repping my country so well. But yo, they do black people so bad in this country. And this country was built off of the sweats of our backs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And we still to this day, like our hip hop culture is such an economical generation machine for this country's economic system and the influence from it.
Mm-hmm. It's a legacy.
They even started like making artists rap about criminal activity so they can fill up their jails because most of the rich people started investing in their private jails. So they're like, we got to fill these jails up. What better way to do it by inciting these people to do crimes? So this drill shit that's going on, the government is extremely happy about this.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's a war out on rappers to send them to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. The thing is this. Def Jam was the first label to invest in the prison industrial complex. And what they did was they said, okay, listen, we got a way where y'all can make millions of dollars without selling no albums. They said, what you talking about? How we going to do that?
Just rap about crime.
No. They said, that's when they came to and they said, listen, investing in these privatized prisons, your turnaround would be in the millions and you wouldn't have to sell one album to get this kind of money.
Right.
So the first go round, they said, oh, wow, this is amazing. So they wanted to throw it back in the pot. It's okay, now we're going to show you how to quadruple the money. They said, how are we going to do that? They said, you guys control the narrative. if the narrative is gangster rap culture, you're influencing hip hoppers to indulge in crime, violence,
criminal activity.
activity.
Yep.
So they said, wow, we never thought about it like that. This is when they said yes, and if you want this to work for you, you're gonna have to get rid of that conscious rap and cross over to gangster rap, because that's who we're targeting for the prison industrial complex.
And that's when NWA was formed.
Yes, and see, if it was really, if you look at how that happened, it could have never happened no other way unless it was to work for those entities.
And you know what's so crazy about this, y'all? You know who was the lead guy of this gangster rap shit? Eazy-E. And you know who his guy was?
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Heller.
Heller, yep.
See how it works? It all falls back down to some white guy that wants to try to take down. He made Eazy-E feel like, oh, I got something good here. We're going to do this. You're doing this. You're going to do that. I'm going to make sure that you win with this shit, and we're going to get this shit to the national level.
Oh, yeah. And
Jerry
they utilize the freedom of speech in order to do it. And don't get me wrong. I love freedom of speech, and I agree with it, but I don't like when people manipulate the circumstances in order to use that speech freedom to harm others, to kill others, and to influence wrong activity and criminal activity.
You ever notice why I call what's her name? The
Cardi?
Sexy Red.
Oh,
you ever
God.
notice why Sexy Red came out of nowhere with all of these fucking hoochie songs and disrespecting herself and making women feel like they could be like just hoochies and sluts and shit like that, and that's all she rap about.
That's
you know what I mean? It was a plant.
Yeah.
She was planted there for
She's
that.
a serious plant. Let me
You
tell
know
you,
what I'm saying?
when I first saw her, when she first got on my radar, she did a video in a parking lot of Planned Parenthood, and the name of the song was "I Got Murder on My Mind."
Wow.
You got to check this out.
Because if y'all don't know, Planned Parenthood, that's the abortion
Oh
clinics.
God, man!
So when she says she got murder on her mind, that means she wants to go and kill babies. And that's what Planned Parenthood was invented for, so they can stop black people from making babies.
Yes.
That's what it was all about. If y'all didn't know.
And see, this one thing you got to watch out with Kamala too. Her main campaign is a man can't tell you what to do with your body, and you got to look at the wordplay here because it's a manipulation tactic. If she came out and said, yeah, we're going to allow you guys to kill your babies, they'd be like, whoa. You know, I'm not a killer.
Right. But she reworded it
You see what I'm saying?
oh, women rights, we could do what we want with our bodies. But listen to this. What's so crazy about this, right? They want women to be like, oh, we could do whatever and this and that, right? But check this out. So now, if a man has a baby or a man gets a woman pregnant, right? And he don't want to be with her, or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't use contraceptive or whatever the case may be, right? Why would if it was like, well, if a man didn't want that baby and you kept it anyway, and he's not going to be liable to pay child support or anything for that baby, you think women would be out here just having babies by motherfuckers?
No, they wouldn't.
Exactly.
And see, when it comes to them, you know, it once again, it's a double standard, because you could say, okay, I don't want to have a child. And then the woman could say, well, I do. And then you got to pay for it.
Correct.
Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely believe that, you know, both parents should have an interest in supporting a child, raising a child. And I do believe that the best way to do that is in a nuclear family with both parents.
Right.
Unfortunately, we had over 70% ratio now of one single parent households.
Yeah, but it's also said that children are raised better with a two-parent household or a father as a single parent.
Oh, saying that. Okay, so look at this, right? If we know statistically that the data shows that the father being raising a child by himself, or the mother and father, both statistics are the same.
Correct.
Okay? And then when the single mother comes into the picture, all of those statistics go down the drain by 85%.
So why does every time the courts always are awarding the mother custody? So, and this is what bugs me out. So the courts will always award the mother custody of a child, right?
Yeah.
But yet the woman is not the better household for the child. Because if you got to give the mother child support, right? Why would the child go with her if she can't afford to take care of that baby?
Exactly.
If the man can afford to take care of that baby, why can't the baby be raised by that father? And the mother comes and gets the child on weekends and different stuff like that because they want it like that. They want this child support to be given because they make money off the child support. It's not even about the child.
Well, no, not only that. I found out that family court judges are the only judges whose pension plan and retirement is contingent upon garnishment of money
Look at that shit.
in court. And I got proof of this. I'm going to send you a link. Matter of fact, hold on.
We could look that shit up right now. Let's read that shit right now.
What's it called?
It's a whole scam with child support, I'm telling you. And I've been paying that shit for 16 years, man.
Yo, I just got done with that.
Oh, I know. That extra money coming in, it looks different, doesn't it?
Way different, man.
Word, man. I just told my son the other day, man, I'm gonna get into some deep shit with y'all too right now, because my 16-year-old, you know, he sent me a report card the other day, and I was so proud of him.
That's good.
Like, oh, my son his grades are so good, and I'm so happy, and this and that, and boom, boom, boom. Because me and his moms actually went through a lot of drama and court battles and stuff like that, and I paid child support to her. One time she told me that my child support don't do nothing. But yet now my son is a teenager. He now gets the card, and the money goes directly to him. It's everything for him. But listen, the report card that he sent me was bogus.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was some progress report that he had. So the teacher, one of his teachers called me, and he sent me the real report card. Yo, I was I was infuriated and embarrassed by the shit. So I went over and I talked to him, and I said to him, I said, listen, with those grades you got, bro, you ain't going to college if you wanted to. Now, he's already said he's not feeling school. Obviously, he's not feeling school if he ain't doing well. But you ain't getting in no type of college with those grades. So either you're going to learn a trade, you're going to come in here and run this business with me and be an entrepreneur or something, or you just going to take all of the city job tests.
There you go right here.
You know what I'm saying?
Title 4D of the Social Security Act. All right, Google that. Now, when you're talking about the trades, they systemically took all of the trade program, vocational programs out of the high schools in New York City in late 70s, early 80s because they started realizing how it was interfering with the school-to-prison pipeline. They found out that a child who has a trade could sustain himself and support a family without indulging in a criminal lifestyle. And they said, that's not what we want. We need to box these kids into where either they go to college or they go to jail. So if you got a public school system that's broken and doesn't prepare them for college, where else he gonna go? To jail.
Exactly.
If you got a pharmaceutical company whose interest delves into the public schools with the learning disability, all it takes is a school psychologist to say, "Oh, your child has one of the 12 learning disabilities."
That's that. What's that IEP they call it?
Yeah. So now under that context, they say, "Okay, your child has to be evaluated for a learning disability." Oh yeah, he has a learning disability, and we need to put him in this program. And that's when the mother's, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with my child." Okay, well, this is how much money you'll get every month for your child. Oh, I got 2 other kids. You want to evaluate them too? They literally sell them out at that point. And the thing is this, now we're going to show you how much you get, but the child has to take this medication now. So what that medication does is it
makes them crazy.
It actually gives them what they falsely diagnosed with, but in actuality what it does, it slows down the brain function level to the point where that child can't keep a job or maintain in society without coming into contact with the criminal, with crime. You see what I'm saying? So all of these elements that go again. Let me tell you something. When I was 10 years old, my mother gave me a book, and I encourage every parent to read this book. It's called Countering the Conspiracy to Kill Black Boys. And at 10 years old, I was like shell-shocked by reading this thing. I'm so glad my mother gave it to me because it really prepared me for what I was going up against.
And that right there, her giving you that book and you reading it and you learning, giving you knowledge of self at such a young age is probably what made you who you are today.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You know?
I'm gonna give that book to my son because he needs to read that.
You know what? There's like three of them now.
You
know, they're like
because these young teenagers now, you could talk to them till their face is blue, and it seems like that they need to figure it out on their own. So I'm there to guide him. But when I went to go see him the other day, because when I figured that his report card was so good, I went out there, chilled with him, gave him a couple $100, like, yo, I'm so proud of you, son. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know their school be texting me about problems, but why would they be texting me so much if your grades is this high? Like, what's the problem? Is it a scandal or something like that they trying to come at you or whatever? But then when the teacher called me a few weeks later and told me the real shit, and they sent me the real report card, I took my ass right back out there and I was like, yo, give me all my bread back, bro. And then when I rolled up on him and I pulled up, he was like, Dad, I know what you out here for. He thought I was about to fuck him up because I'm very aggressive when it comes to my kids and them doing right. But I had to think about it for a second and I'm like, damn, if I floor him and bust his ass right now, that ain't gonna do nothing.
That's gonna create the anger.
You're right.
That's gonna justify him being mad at you now.
Right.
And, it has...
Right. So what I told him was, I took the bread back because I'm like, I'm not rewarding failure. Yeah. That's one thing I'm not gonna do. I'm saying you get your child support every other week or whatever the case may be, but all this extras I'm giving you is a dub. You got to show me that you really want this. I said, so now what I'm gonna do is, now I'm gonna come up to your school and meet up with the teachers, and I'm gonna be in your school now, and you're gonna see me there, and I'm like, this is your fault. This is your only warning of me talking to you. I'm only gonna talk to you this time. Because I know you expected me to come up here and flip on you and wild out on you, shit like that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm talking to you because you're a young man now. And I want you to do right by yourself. And it's my job as your father to make sure that you excel and succeed in life. You feel me? So I'm not here to beat up on you and do anything. I'm talking to you like because you're a young man. And you got to understand, with those grades, you're not going to excel, academically in college or school or anything like that. But now, once you turn 18, this child support that you're getting from me is gonna stop. Mm-hmm. And your mom's, she's not gonna be taking care of you at an 18-year-old because you see how she was with your brother. She forced him to go get a job or whatever like that because she's struggling doing her own thing, trying to live her own life. So I'm trying to prepare you that when you become 18 and you're a young man here, it's gonna be hard if you ain't got some type of skills or know-how. I'm like, what is it that you wanna do? Do you wanna run a clothing line? That's a business. You know what I mean?
You know what? Speaking of that, I just became the COO of an organization called the Winner Circle. And what we do at the Winner Circle is we help designers and regular people launch their clothing lines. So that's something that we could talk about too.
Yo, I'm telling y'all, man, if y'all are watching this show and y'all seeing this in a rebroadcast, y'all need to follow him at James C.B. Gray on Instagram. All of these organizations and all of these opportunities that he have for you guys, I think y'all need to really, really utilize it and take advantage of this stuff. This is the main reason why I wanted him up here. Like, I'm really promoting the Loosey, the movie that I'm in, because this is my acting debut, and I met him on set. Yep. He's the one that supplied all of the fake guns and the police artifacts and everything like that for the movie. But there was so much other stuff that we spoke about that I was so intrigued by, because in all actuality, my third eye is open. And being the fact that I have a platform where I can come up here and I can speak about this positive stuff for my peoples to understand what it is. I don't have to be out there doing extra wild shit to let y'all know I can just feed y'all the information through this. And I'll push it on y'all that way. But I have sons out here. Yeah. And I really want my sons to be able to, not have to worry about a lot of the shit that's going on in life, because, it can be hard out here and they quickly to throw our peoples in jail for anything. You know what I'm saying? But yet y'all open up the borders and let migrants and everything come in. And so far, we didn't have migrants beating up on cops, shooting people, running up in buildings and taking over buildings like it was the Carter from fucking...
Look, they had a whole thing where one of the cops that got assaulted on Times Square, his wife told the news, she said, yo, my husband told me that they told them, don't be so aggressive with the migrants, but if you see a black person, do what you got to do.
Wow.
And when I heard that, I said, are you serious? Because you got to look, the audacity, back in the days, a migrant was under the radar. He would never even try to come in contact with the cops. You know why? Because he going back where he came from.
Exactly.
Do you know that the Democrats just voted on a bill to not charge migrants for sexual crimes against?
And it's nothing but sexual offenders here. And everybody know, let's keep it 100. Everybody know, like in the certain Latin community, they definitely were touching their little girls and their little boys and their family. Yeah. That's a fact. Just like they say, oh, black people always do, they don't have their father's not around, they go to jail. It's a fact that in the Latin community, a lot of them uncles and fathers and brothers be touching they little motherfucking peoples in they fucking family. And everybody knows this.
I heard about that too.
Everybody knows that. I done spoke to a lot of Latin people that I knew for years and they said it. Yeah, that's something that's like with the priest. The priests are also known for touching the boys that's in a all boys school and shit like that. Like, to me, that priesthood shit, it's like a little harem of pedophiles that's hidden in the priesthood community. And getting even deeper, Puffy went to an all boys school.
Mount St. Michael.
And one of the guy, he was arrested for sexual assault to the young students. Yep. And Puffy was in the school at that time. Yep. So why you think Puffy might have this little infatuation with these young boys and stuff? Because he was touched by this priest. And you know that priest was moved to another state and he's still teaching in schools?
But see, that's what they do. The archdiocese, what they do, when they get a complaint, they just move these guys around. They send them on missions. Yeah, they move these guys around. Because,
that's crazy.
Number one, this is an indoctrination of their culture, okay? And it continues to go on, but it's not solved. They'll give that church some money, get a family some money, and move this guy to another location. And that's not even a solution. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what's crazy about all of this? And I ain't going front. I'm going deep in the rabbit hole with this shit. Now, you know when you say third world countries, right? People go to certain countries and they'll do certain crimes that they can't do in certain countries, right? Okay. Like, for instance, you see how weed is so freely smoked and everywhere. You can't go to Dubai and do that. You can't go to mad countries and not even, like that lesbian girl that went to Russia with the little vape weed stuff. You see how she was in jail. They had to trade some killer motherfucker for her.
That was the real guy in real life from the movie Lords of War. You know?
Yeah, that was the real guy.
That was the real guy.
And they traded him for this lesbian basketball girl. She willingly went there with those weed cartridges in her bag.
Yeah.
Yo.
It's crazy.
Yo, it's weird.
But now look, back to the resource thing, right? And that's one thing I'm real big on is resources, because a lot of platforms talk about the problems, but I try to look for solutions too.
Right.
So Google certifications.
Oh, I'm on let me get out of this.
Google certifications. The reason I'm saying that is because Google has 4 or 5 certifications right now that you can get that can start you making over $80,000 a year. AI and a couple of others.
All right. What? Now, when you say certificate, certificate.
Yeah, well, it's certifications. Google certifications. Because it's from Google.
Okay.
And what they do is they give you this whole program and this whole course that you go through to train you for these occupations. And when you're done, they offer you a job first. But with the certification, you could practically get a job anywhere.
So what, right here, career one-stop certifications?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what that's about. Is that it? Career one-stop?
No. It's a Google thing.
Oh.
Go back. I think I just saw it.
Okay, let's go back to that. Let's check it out.
Go to the top. What does it say?
That's the meaning of certification.
All right, see right here where you got certifications up at the top?
Right.
No, at the top.
Right here?
No, down.
Right here?
Right there.
This one?
See what that is? Oh, just bring the page. Yeah. In the front of the certifications, put Google. Right here. Right here.
Okay.
Let's go down to that one. Right there.
All right, Google certification.
Google career certifications.
All right.
Now, that shows you all, look at cybersecurity, data analytics, IT support, digital marketing. These right here, once you get done with this course and get certified, you can start at, look at that, 93,000.
Wow, I said learn the skills you need to unlock reward outcome in 93,000 plus a year, 1.8 million plus. Jobs posted across certificate skills, fields.
Now, if you can prove that you're living below poverty level, there's organizations that'll pay the fee for you to get these courses for free. Okay? I said, I gave this information on the podcast, like about 150 people now, like, yo, thank you, man. I got a job working for Google, working for these IT networks and all this stuff. And this is another alternative to prison.
Yo, everybody, go on Google certifications. says actually say career certificates, but you want to go to, I think it's grow.google.
Yeah,
That's what it's saying up here.
It's a Google thing.
Yeah, just go to grow.google and it's Google certifications. It'll be learn jobs, ready skills with a Google career certificate. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go to this because I'm looking at it right now and it's crazy. Like this shit crazy. Let me bookmark this shit. So
so many young people I sent this to, they said, "Oh my God, I love AI. I love data analytics." And when you get the interest of a teen or a young adult who's interested in something already, that's half the battle. They already have the motivation to want to do something right. It's really not many people that say, you know what, I'm just a criminal, ain't nothing else I could do.
Right.
Okay, when you look at the social economic reflection of their reality, a lot of times bends them toward something wrong to hopefully get enough money to do something right.
Right.
But if we can counteract that situation and give them an opportunity before they go wrong, then that's where we win. And that's when we strengthen our resources. That's when we start building more Black-owned businesses. And that's one thing that really builds Black communities.
Yes.
And there's not enough resources for Black communities right here to even invest in ourselves. You see what I'm saying? And that's one thing I'm trying to do is raise the awareness and bring the resources with solutions at the same time.
Yo, so so far we've been here for like now an hour and then an hour and 20 minutes. And you've given us so much insight and so much opportunity to go and make some stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people that's watching this episode or even rewatching it on the broadcast when we come on Thursdays and Rough Riders and iHeart and stuff like that, y'all really need to go into some of the things that he spoke about. And I'm telling you right now, you can look up that Google Google career certificates and everything like that, because I'm looking at it right now.
This is
and it's
another
official.
alternative to the criminal justice system. And it's practically, even if you had to pay for it, it's only a couple thousand, I think. You know, which is nothing compared to what these colleges are charging for degrees that don't make no money.
Right.
See, that's another big problem. I was talking to the young
colleges were invented to just put people in debt to me. Student loans, not colleges.
And the reason is because a lot of young Black females get caught up in, man, I seen majors that I never heard before. And I said, why are you majoring in this?
Exactly.
Oh, well, because it's an easy course and you're getting a student. But if you look at it, statistically, Black males go for degrees in science, technology, engineering, and math. And guess what? Those are all degrees in which you can literally hit the ground running and make money to pay off the student loan debt if you have to do that. But the females, they're going into a lot of
psychology and all that shit.
No disrespect to that, but what you got to look at is how long you're going to be in debt now. So most of them, 70% of Black women are not working in their degree. So guess what? Not only are you not working in your degree, you're working in something else trying to pay off this debt. So by the time you pay off the debt to a certain point, to where, okay, you know what? Now I can focus on, you've been out the system for so long.
Correct.
And they say, well, and let me tell you, somebody went to Congress and they said, okay, they had this whole big survey they did. And the survey said that if you have a bad credit score, you're more likely to steal from the company that you work for.
That's crazy.
Of course, this is a white person that came up with this study.
Wow.
So when he made the presentation in Congress, they said, "Oh wow, this is great. This is an amazing way to deny somebody a job that has bad credit or bad credit history." So what they do is they say, "Okay, you come out of college, you got your degree, but guess what? Your credit score is bad because of student loan debt."
Right.
You're a great person. You're looking at your grades, degree, everything's great, but according to this statistic, you're more like your liability with your bad credit score. What we encourage you to do is go to McDonald's, Starbucks, or whatever. Just try to hustle up some money to try to get this student loan thing down. So now they do that for a couple of years sometimes. They come back. That's when they say, "All right, you've been off the scene too long. We need somebody fresh out with a degree." And you know who's fresh out with a degree? A lot of those white students that didn't have to get student loans. You see what I'm saying? So this is just another level of disenfranchisement as a way where a lot of Black people are trying to do the right thing and still fall through the cracks.
It's so fucking discerning to me that, like, even when slaves were supposedly be freed, there was so many obstacles put in the way to deter Black people from winning. And we still like got through the odds and made it happen. Because when they were white flight and they started giving black people project apartments and telling them to break their families up to give the woman this stuff, which that shit worked. That's why you got so many women out here talking about they don't need no man and they can do it by themselves and they're a single mom and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when they was doing that white flight shit, a lot of the white people that moved to upstate and moved to Long Island and all that, the banks were told by the governments to make sure that you give them home loans, but when black people come in for home loans, you don't give that to them. They are not eligible for these loans. They are not eligible for these home loans. And you know why? Because they wanted white people to have homes so they can have equity to send their children to school and do all of the things like that off the equity of having these homes and get a better generational start for their families, as opposed to where they were giving black women apartments with their children and telling them the man can't be there and giving them welfare so they could always be depending on the government. And they don't want to go out there and work. They don't want to go out there and produce. And you know, whatever the child sees in the home, that's what they usually come up off of. You know what I mean? And this is one of the reasons why myself, I'm so prone to show my sons that a man and a woman is what it's supposed to be. That's the family
the
structure.
Nuclear family.
Is a man and a woman.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And this is why as they were growing up, I was always affectionate to their moms, showing them like I was loving to her and everything like that, because with all of the things that they're doing now with the LGBTQ community, they're trying to make younger kids feel that it's okay for them to want the same sex. And that's not cool. That's not cool. You can't push that on somebody, because now a young child that's being raised by two women or two men, now they're confused, because just because that child is raised by two women or two men, that doesn't make that child want the same sex. They natural hormones that they have when they go through puberty, because a child going through puberty is like an older woman going through menopause. It's a whole different body change in their life. So when you're going through puberty, you can't say you're interested in men only if you're a guy, or a woman just interested in girls, because you haven't experienced anything yet. But yet they're pushing the agenda so hard to make kids feel like, oh, I don't think a woman, a young girl, I don't think I want a man. I want to be with a girl. How you know you want to be with a girl?
But see, look, they target them at the most confused time.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying, you know, I just want everybody. My whole thing is I just want us to let children be children. If they get to the right age and make that decision,
right,
cool. But the more you expose them, like when you have textbooks that the kids can't bring home to the parents, that's part of an agenda.
Right. They don't want the parents to know what they're teaching.
Matter of fact, if you look at the on the new voting thing, they have one of those things on the back where you got to vote on. It's number 1 actually.
They said something about you're supposed to pick no for that one. It's some law that they passed and you're supposed to vote no.
My friend sent me the whole breakdown of it, and when I read it, it was about them denying parents the opportunity to be involved in some of these curriculums. It was also about them allowing men to compete in women. I listen, I don't understand that stuff.
All right, now I'm glad you brought that up, because I was waiting to segue into that.
When I say that, you know, men and women are different, and
in every way,
so many ways, to where physically,
you
could have the weakest guy on a team,
but he's still stronger than them women,
and he's stronger than the strongest woman, and we know this to be a fact. There's no way in the world that a man should be playing female sports or a man should be in a female bathroom. No disrespect to nobody. I just don't understand how we evolved to a point where that is something that people are pushing.
That a man could say, I'm a woman because he's wearing a dress, and now we have to abide by that. Or a woman to say, I'm a man because I want to dress like a guy, and now I'm supposed to be brainwashed and delusional to believe that you now are a man because you want to identify as a man. So if I say I'm identifying as a billionaire and I go in that bank and I tell a teller, listen, I need to take $100,000 out my account that's in there because I identify as a billionaire, is she supposed to honor that?
And see, this is the delusion that I'm talking about here. It's really getting out of control.
It's been out of control.
So just imagine if you a young girl who all your life you just wanted to be the best that you could be
right.
as a girl growing into a woman in sports. And now the only thing that has sidetracked your victory is a man who's now competing against you.
Right. And we got to believe he's a woman. And that's what I wanted to say to you. You see how everybody is talking about, oh, you got to accept the LGBTQ trans community. And if they feel that way, we got to go by it. But now there's so many commercials out there now that women are saying we have to protect our women and women's rights.
Yeah,
men should not. Women that they said women should not have to compete against men in sports. Man. But yet y'all were the same people. The same feminists that was saying, oh, we got to treat them equal. Let them be equal. If they feel like they're women, then we got to let them be women. If they want to come into the women's bathroom, they want to come into the women's bathroom. If they're wearing skirts and dresses, you got to identify them as a. But now y'all feel like y'all kicked yourself in the ass. And these same men, women, trans people are now competing in these sports and they're dusting these women. I mean, like smoking them. Yeah. I seen a commercial where a trans woman was like so far ahead of the women in a race or so far ahead of them in swimming. Like that testosterone strength that's in them arms and chest and muscles, you can't take that away just by saying you're a woman. You're still a man.
Yeah.
So now these women wanted to be like, oh, everybody's equal. We all got to treat everybody like they're who they want to be. Let them be who they want to be. But now they're dusting y'all asses in the sports. Now y'all want to be crying about, oh, protect our women. Why would y'all be going saying that a man could be identified as a woman and let him be coming in the bathroom as a woman? He still got to stand up to pee. Mm-hmm. That don't even make sense to me. That shit is just pure idiocy and stupidity. But then if you say something like that, you're gay bashing. That's like if you say something about the Jews. Like, for instance, Jewish people, we all know that they fucking put life insurance policies on their old people and their family so that when they die, they capitalize off of it. Oh, yeah. We all know that Jewish people are married in their Hebrew country and come here and pretend like they're not husband and wife so that the wives could go and get mad welfare while living in a mansion that the husband opened up from the big ass $1 million business that he has. We all know this. But yet you say something like that to a Jewish person in a matter that is not respectable, which I don't know how you could say that respectable. Now you're anti-Semitic. Kyrie Irving, what he said about that book was nothing anti-Semitic about it. And if he has an issue with different nationality, well, who cares? It is what it is. Man, I seen a post where a Jewish man threw up on a black lady. Voluntarily made himself throw up on a black lady. That's how they look at him. So it's okay for them to look at black people differently. But if a black person, a star, celebrity, says something about a Jewish community, he's anti-Semitic. Like with Kanye West, he's anti-Semitic. Get the fuck out of here. He don't even have to like Jewish people.
Yeah.
Like as a person, mad people don't like black people. So why the fuck we gotta like everybody? And I think that's the reason why slaves were forced to come into the church. We were forced and whipped to come and praise the God that the slave masters wanted us to praise, because that's all about passiveness and peace. And you can't be fighting. It can't be an eye for an eye. You got to pray and look up to God, and it'll get better. He's gonna make it better.
Well, hold on. Have you ever seen a movie, Birth of a Nation?
I heard of it, but I didn't see it.
All right, so it's funny because there was a picture of me on the Brooklyn Bridge when I was marching over the Brooklyn Bridge for the Eric Garner case. And there was a picture of me and Reverend Al Sharpton's daughter, Ashley Sharpton. Mm-hmm. She was in front. And
Is that the daughter that said, oh no, that wasn't her, sorry.
So she was in front, I was behind her, and I got my fist up in the air, and she got a sign that says Imagine Justice. That picture went so viral that it made it into the trailer of the Birth of a Nation movie. So when they showed the trailer on BET, on the Grammys and all that, everybody called me like, yo, this. So that's when I'm like, yo, I gotta see this movie. So we did the premiere, and what happened was in the movie you see, what's his name? The main character
in Birth of a Nation.
He was a slave preacher,
right?
And what they used him for, every time you had slaves in a plantation that would weren't going with the system, weren't respecting the master, they would bring this slave to that plantation to preach to them. And he would preach to them what they call the slave Bible. Google that. Google the slave Bible.
Slave Bible? Okay.
In the slave Bible, it heavily references honor thy master and a bunch of verses that specifically bring you back mentally as a slave to how thankful you should be for your master and how good he is to you and what your obligation is.
And they're exactly what I said.
You see what I'm saying?
This is the exact reason why that they pushed on this whole Catholic religion to us, because
Look, the Bible explicitly allowed slavery.
See?
And that's the proof right there.
And they wanted us to not be revengeful and angry about it. They wanted us to act like we were supposed to, it's going to get better. Just pray and it's going to get better. Right after that motherfucker whipped you and put them lashes on your back, you were supposed to pray with your family.
Now, in the midst of this whole thing, he was going on all these plantations, reiterating the slave Bible to the slaves to get them back on track with their master. And one day he realized, I'm the demise of my people. What am I doing? And when he broke away from that, that's when the revolt happened. And that was one of the biggest slave revolts that ever was.
Right.
So after that happened, that's when they said the slaves could no longer beat the drums and dance anymore when they weren't working. Because after they come out the fields, they go back to the slave quarters and they would have these African spiritual ritual ceremonies. They weren't indoctrinated into the Bible at that time.
Right.
But this is something, this is why when they saw that every slave quarters that allowed their slaves to beat the drums and to dance and to practice the African spiritual ritual system,
right,
they all rose up, killed the masters, and went free.
And that's the shit they don't have in the history books.
Exactly.
They don't want to talk about that.
So now they said, okay, no more beating no drums, no more. We're gonna put a slave church on every plantation specifically for the slaves, and we're gonna teach one of the slaves, the elder that all of them respect. He's gonna become a preacher.
See?
You see what I'm saying?
And that's why they have churches on every fucking block. That's why.
And we don't know our history a lot of times.
That's why.
And this is how this cycle keeps on. This is post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Exactly.
At its finest. And religious indoctrination at the same time.
So when people go to church all the time and they feel like they got to give 10% in tithes of their salary and all that shit, man, like you're bugging. You're bugging. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you want to praise God or whatever the case may be, you can praise
your body
in your
is
house.
a temple.
That's it.
Your body is a temple. You can have a connection with God directly without having to pay taxes or tithes on it.
Right.
And we don't know that.
Plus, most of the fucking most of the priests are pedophiles, and most of the preachers are criminals that are duping the system. How could you be giving tithes of your money, your hard-earned money, and your struggling family, and the preacher got a fucking Rolls Royce and a big mansion? Because he don't got to pay taxes or nothing on that money. So a lot of people go like the guy who just was bagged, and I know him. I met him a few times.
Whitehead.
Yeah.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I seen him at the.
He be backstage at every fucking hip hop event.
Yeah,
with his Gucci suits on and
stuff.
stuff.
At the Derby.
Didn't he just get found guilty and sent to jail for some shit?
Like 12 years. Yeah.
See, look at that shit.
Yeah,
12 years. So the guy was guilty. They said that he set up that whole robbery for that jury. He was like, he ain't do it.
Well, you got to understand, before all of that happened, he had went to prison for fraud, identity theft, and all that stuff. And soon as he comes out of prison, he became a bishop like overnight. And I'm like, hold on. What is the process of becoming a bishop? How does that? First of all, the bishop that's like it takes years to get to that
because he's
level.
like, that's like one of the highest levels.
You know what I'm saying? That's like you have to be an elder a lot of times to even phase into that. It's I'm just saying his criminal record already spoke for itself. What he was doing with the real estate scams and all of that stuff, they already knew that something was fishy with him. He has a congregation of about 25 people, and they all young black females. All right, the only black males he had was security. That's not even enough money to maintain payments on a Rolls Royce.
Right.
Let alone the mansion that he had.
Yep.
Then when he started, the lady came forward like, he took this money and never
like
paid me back.
$80,000 or something like that, and never did it. He never got the house.
You do that to an elder.
Yep.
And you say you're a man of God. See, that's where I can't respect it at that level, man.
It's crazy out here, man. It's crazy how and it's weird how our own peoples will do it. Yeah. And you know what? That's why I understand with you know what I'm saying, with Oh shit! I can't even remember. I'm bugging how I can't even remember her name. What's the railroad? What's the lady?
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
You know, this is the reason why I understand why any slave that went through her the railroad and they snitched, she killed them.
Yeah.
She killed their ass.
They said she had the gun not for the white man, for just in case she had to put down one of us.
One of her own. Like, yo, if you try to fuck up this organization that I have here, that I set up, the Underground Railroad, to get us to free from these motherfucking these enslaved colonizers, you're dead.
Yeah.
And I understand that shit. Because anybody that tries to go against what you're trying to do, they're the enemy, whether they're your own kind or not.
Look, so, Master P just put out a video, and he was talking about how his grandmother came to him and said, "Yo, baby, you know, you fired my my son. You know what?" He said, "Grandma, listen, no disrespect, but your son was you know, tearing apart my business.
Right.
He wasn't respecting it. I'm losing money now because he's not doing the right thing, and he know that I can't fire him because you might,
you know what I mean? Because he's family.
But he had to make a decision internally that was going to protect his business.
Right.
And that's
how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's how it really has to be.
Hey, yo, we here right now, you know what I'm saying, with our special guest, James C.B. Gray. He's said a lot of influential, inspirational things and gave y'all a lot of insight on how you can make shit happen. If y'all on the live or y'all watching, you could tune in or call up 516-540-1684, ask some questions, whatever you need to know about him and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I want to get more, because we already damn near an hour and a half into the show already. You know what I'm saying? I want to get more into, like, what's some of the other things that you're involved in? Like, we already got like a lot of full story about, like, you know what I'm saying, what you're involved in as far as like the movies and things of that sort. Like, what is some of the other stuff that you're involved in?
Well, you know, it's funny. It's more like what am I not involved with?
Right.
And of course, I'm not involved with any criminal activity of any kind.
Okay.
I'm all about uplifting my people. You know, I became an activist because I wanted to find out how I could help the most people. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got with the, you know, National Action Network. That's how I got with the Arc of Justice. That's how I got with the Strong Enough Achievers Foundation. That's how I got with Street Corner Resources and all these other entities that are doing great work in the black communities. Right. And, you know, that really gave me a purpose. And that's another thing that I encourage people to look for your purpose.
Right.
You know, don't look so much of what you can get from people, because there's a lot of people that live their life just getting over.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of them.
Yeah, they're not even living. And they're not prospering because they have that crab in the barrel mentality. Correct. So bad that it doesn't even allow you to get blessings, because you never think for 1 minute, what can I do for others?
Right.
You know, it's all about me.
What can I get?
And a lot of these people take advantage of good people, mm-hmm. and they still never learn the lesson of how to overcome their circumstances and be blessed, because in their mind, there never was a prospect about blessing others and doing right by others. So that's just something that I not only preach, but I'm always reiterating,
right? Because
I want people to understand how important it is for you to help others and to be of selfless service. Right. You know, I think of myself last a lot of times because there's so many people in front of me that need help, and I'm always trying to find solutions to help people. And I know this sounds political, but it's real. Like, I didn't want to become a politician. I became a politician because I was tired of begging politicians for money to help the community.
Right.
I said, I can go straight to the horse's mouth by becoming a politician, doing what I want to do that's already going to help the people,
right? Bringing
the money back where it needs to go. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just all about money. It was really about resources. You know, all my life I've just been looking at ways to help more and more people. Mm-hmm. So in that prospect, I became an activist. I became a politician. I became a community, activist. And I dealt with the community engagement and providing resources on many different levels. So I always knew I wanted to affiliate myself with organizations and entities that were doing the work. And that, like, once again, that came down to all these other organizations that I'm a part of or formerly with, like I said, with the National Action Network.
What would you say was the first thing that you got into that started your journey off? Like, because I know when we were young teenagers, we were just doing regular stuff, and we know, like, when I was young, I was a criminal, right? But I've always, like, every time I got arrested or whatever, or got probation or something like that, I always stayed in school. I always wound up having a job.
Yeah.
No matter if I was doing crimes, I always made sure that I stayed in school, and I kept a little job, whether it was Wendy's or you know what I'm saying, trying to do some shit. You know what I mean? Like, what made you feel that you was, because whatever you did in your early years made you who you are today?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. Number one, I'm second oldest of 9 children.
Wow.
So in that capacity, I was always in a leadership position.
Because it was 7 younger than you.
Yeah. You know, so my mother told me when I was very young, she said, listen, everything you do, they're watching you. And if you do something wrong, they're going to feel that there's something that they can do.
Right.
So your influence is something very pivotal in their lives. And I want you to understand how important it is for you to set an example for the younger ones. So I always had that. And I developed a reputation of being responsible and trustworthy to the point where there's certain kids who couldn't even come outside unless their parents knew I was outside.
Right.
You know, there was parents who trusted me with $100 bills at 5 years old, knowing I would bring back change and a receipt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I never wanted to have anybody think that they couldn't trust me or rely on me, because I knew how important it was to set that standard and to reflect the character. And see, once again, my family structure, my father was one of the few black men that lived in the household on our block.
Right.
So I was directly exposed to a black man of integrity, of faith, of honor. My father was the president of the 3rd Avenue Block Association on our block.
You were the Bronx?
Mount Vernon.
Oh, Mount Vernon, okay.
Matter of fact, Denzel Washington's mother had a beauty salon on 4th Avenue, the next block over. Her beauty salon got burglarized. Police kind of swept it under the rug. She heard about my father and all he was doing in the community.
Right.
And see, once again, I'm looking up to him. As a young boy, watching him tackle things in the community, helping people out on a daily basis.
That was your inspiration right there.
Yeah. And
you know
see,
what I mean?
that was so powerful for me to see. When I was in 3rd grade, I told my mother, I said, I want to dress like Daddy. And that's how I started wearing 3-piece suits on a regular day in school.
Right.
And the teacher's like, yo, this is a fine young gentleman.
Yeah.
And the girls
when I
loved it.
saw you, I was like, damn, son, you sharper than a motherfucking knife. Like, word up. And it works. Like, people see you dressed real sharp and nice, and they know that you dress for success.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And I dress because I want to set an example for the young brothers of what professionalism is in physical realm.
Right.
And
shout out Bedroom Goodies on the live.
Oh yeah, that's
what's
that's
up?
Alfie.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend, y'all.
Yeah.
And it's small world. You guys went to school together.
Yo, that's crazy because me and his lady went to high school together, Transit Tech. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I graduated from Transit Tech. Throughout Transit Tech, when I first went in as a freshman, I wound up catching a case. And they not kicked me out, but when I went to go to jail in the summer of 90, into, you know what I'm saying? I was kicked out of the school. And my mom's was like, look, you could go get your GED. And I was like, nah, I want to experience high school. I'm staying.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I had a full weekend. Sorry, pardon me for y'all for yawning, but I wanted to stay in school, and there was a teacher named Mr. Napolitano. You know what I'm saying? I guess I don't know what.
Wow, yeah, it's
Napolitano,
Italian.
yeah. And he used to punch us in the arm. Like, he was a stern teacher. Yeah. And it was a machine shop, so we would make like metal tools, like screwdrivers and everything. We would cut the metal on the machine, you know what I mean? Because it's a vocational school, so it's teaching us trades only. You know what I mean? Ironically, I've been working for transit for mad years. I don't really be telling people that, but we speaking on it now. You know what I'm saying? So I achieved a goal in life. I wanted to work for transit. I went to high school for transit. I went to jail, was almost kicked out, and I still stayed. Graduated within 4 years, because when I was on Rikers Island, they made me go to the school that's in there, and those credits counted for when I got back out and got in school. Me and my moms went through the whole board of education thing to get me to stay in the school, and I did. I graduated, and 16 years after that, I was called for transit. After I graduated from high school, 16 years later, I was called for the job right when I needed it, and I've been there ever since. You know what I'm saying? So I'm achieving a goal in life because that's one of the things that I wanted to do. So what I'm saying to you kids out there, whatever y'all inspire to do positively, you can do it. And me having sons, this is why I make sure that I'm in their lives. So they can, because I'm inspiring them just for me being there and letting them seeing what I'm doing. So what I'm doing with the music and the entertainment stuff and the clothing line and stuff like that, I don't know which one of those things is going to inspire them to want to be a successful adult in life. But me just being there, although I didn't get, you know what I mean? I didn't get along with the mothers or whatever the case may be, I'm still there for them. Whether I'm providing for them financially and coming around to make sure that they're good, or I'm just there to discipline them when they do wrong.
Yeah.
That matters. So it's a big deal for men to be in their children's lives. It's a big deal. And we're two products of that. Because I was raised just by my moms. I didn't know my father at all. Still don't. But yet I know I wanted better for myself, and I wanted my children to know who I am, because I know what it is to not know my father. You feel what I'm saying? So he was raised with his father, and it turned him into this wonderful activist person that's making it happen and got all of the jewels for you to excel in life. And I grew up to be this man that is a stern warrior that wants to make sure that my sons don't go wrong and do the wrong thing. You feel me? Because I went through it, and I don't want them to go through it. You feel what I'm saying? So just, yo, it's a wonderful life if you make it. Yeah, life is what you make it. It'll be a wonderful life. It's going to be some hard times, some struggles, some trials, some tribulations, but you have to apply yourself and men, be there for your children. So when Barack Obama was talking to the black men and trying to tell them to just vote for Kamala, what he should have been saying is be there for your families. Teach them how to be good stand-up guys with integrity. You know what I mean? Those are more important things to say than telling black men just to vote for Kamala when she said out her own mouth how she ain't doing nothing specifically for black people. Yeah. You feel me? Like, that's kind of weird to me.
And, you know, once again, like I said, I'm not trying to tell anybody who to vote for. Everybody has the right to choose, which is another reason why Obama shouldn't have said what he said, you know. But, you know, we're looking at, there's a lot of people that are tired of voting for a party that is not that has not had a history or intention on doing anything for black people. And like, we got to have these conversations. We can't just blindly, you know, say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, or give away that voting demographic. It has to make sense. Everybody else is getting a guarantee.
Yes.
Is getting resources and is benefiting.
Everyone else.
Except for us.
Yeah, but it's like when we speak about us doing things for ourselves, for our people, oh, we're being we're preaching segregation and this and that. But yet back in the days, y'all didn't want us to even use the bathroom or drink from the same water fountain as y'all. Exactly. Like, y'all didn't want anything to do with us as black people. You didn't want us to do anything with you. We couldn't go and eat in your diners. Y'all won't serve the niggers. Y'all ain't doing this, y'all ain't doing that. But for us to stick together as a people and make shit happen and flourish, now here the government comes and want to burn shit down. Here the government comes that want to throw black people in jail for no reason. Here they sending in the cops to fucking wrongfully put foot on necks. Here they want to flood whole towns and destroy them because we're flourishing on our own. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yo, look, right now, there's private prisons that are suing states across the United States. So for instance, right, New York State is one of those states that's being sued. The privatized prison signed a contract with the state that says the state says we're guaranteeing you at least 80% occupancy in your prison. If the occupancy level goes below 80%, you have the right to sue us.
That's crazy.
And guess what? When they got rid of all these low-level marijuana crimes, that immediately impacted the occupancy levels on all privatized.
Yeah, because they had to let mad people out of jail for weed crimes because weed is now legal. It's like throwing people in jail for cigarettes, i.e. the movie Loosey that I'm in right now. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? James C.B. Gray supplied all of the police uniforms and weapons in the movie. He does that as well. You know what I mean? But just check it out. I'm in Loosey, the movie that's coming out soon. Shout out to Kyron Hodges and Shay.
Big shout out to Kyron, man.
Show Up Films and all of that.
Oh yeah, Shy. That's my that's how I got involved with the project because Shy, you know, me and Kyron was talking. And then he said, yo, I want to get you on the phone with my producer. Right. I get on the phone. I'm like, yo, Shy, yo, this cool. That small world again. Yep, 6 degrees of separation.
And it's always like that. Don't I'll be always up here preaching 6 degrees of separation. Yo, I'm just saying, to be successful out here, it's all about who you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know people. You got to be out here networking, and you got to never leave a stone unturned. You meet somebody and y'all got something in common, or y'all could both do something with each other to make some shit happen. You definitely utilize that. You utilize the situation and be a good stand-up person with integrity. You know what I mean? It's all about relationships, bro. That's what it is, man.
Another thing is, like you said, working together to make things happen for the people, for others. So I try to get people to understand, you and this person right here might not see eye to eye. May even have beef at some time. Right. But the two of y'all can make something happen for others. Yep. And I just hate when those two can't get by the issues that they had in order to make something happen for somebody else.
It's weird you saying that, because like when I was telling y'all earlier about when I was looking at the Drink Champs thing, when they was in Young World, Harlem World was saying something about Mason Cam, and one of the, I think it was Cardan or whatever, he was saying that when Mason Cam had they fallen out and they broke up, they said that it was probably such a small thing that one conversation could have fixed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they were so tight that they could have fixed, one conversation could have fixed that. But they went maybe 15 to 20 years without speaking or nothing like that. Crazy. For them to come back together and settle their differences. And now look, they got one of the biggest fucking platforms out right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The biggest platform, and everybody loves it.
You also got to understand, there was probably people that benefited from those two. Yep. Just like with Tupac and Biggie. Yeah. They was on stage together a lot performing. And then there was people who benefited from them being separated.
They saying that it was Puff was one of the people that was happy that they wasn't cool.
Puff was one of them. Jimmy Henchman. There was a couple of them in that equation.
Well, we got about 10 minutes left of the show. I didn't believe we was talking that long about stuff. But
no. Look, I normally every platform I ever been on, I usually come back as a reoccurring guest.
Okay. That's what it is.
So this is the first one. And whenever I come back, I have updates, right, and more resources and information.
And we all about the resources. We all about giving our people's resources. Yeah. And you know, everybody watch our show. It's not just black people that watch our show. Everybody watch our show, whether they just spying or they trying to find some shit out, or they just want to see what I say for them to say some negative shit about me or or feel some way about me. I always want to give some insight, some knowledge, and some resources. So when I got guys up here like James C.B. Gray, and he's giving y'all direct resources that we spoke about, utilize that shit, man. Oh, yeah. Utilize it for real, man, because there's opportunities out here for everybody. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing podcasting, video production. I'm in a movie. I'm producing television. I'm doing what I love. I got a stable situation, you know what I'm saying, as far as my employment is concerned and stuff like that. As a grown man, I feel like I'm succeeding in life.
No, you actually beat the odds.
Yes, you said that right.
Statistics that show that said black man can't make it without indulging in a criminal lifestyle.
Correct. And I indulged, but I was smart enough to not let it take me.
You didn't get consumed to where you fell through the cracks.
Yeah, exactly. It had to do an asshole full of time. You heard?
You know, you beat the odds, and that shows that it can happen, especially if you surround yourself with people that are like-minded and that are of successful. And I always tell people, like my grandmother used to always tell me, you show me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. Right. You might not be like that, but eventually that influence will overwhelm you and overcome you.
And I think that's with me. I was just so headstrong and so determined that a lot of the fucking slime balls that I was around, that I grew up with, like, they couldn't influence me to do nothing. Like, I did some things because I felt I wanted to do it. Yeah. When I caught my first case, I was out there trying to be a stick-up kid and robbing because I wanted money. Yeah. Even though I knew I still was able to go get a job and everything like that, I had the heart to go out there and do that. But when I faced the repercussions of that, I knew that that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to go to jail for 5 and 10, 15 years like a lot of my friends and stuff like that. So I knew, I was like, you know what? I'm not good with that. So I was able to escape having to get a lot of time by me always staying in school and always having a job, so that the parole or probation officers that I had, they never really had to monitor me. They would only give me like a questionnaire. to write. So even though I was still on the street carrying my weapon or whatever like that, when I went to the PO office, they never searched me because they, in their mind, oh, he's a productive young man. We don't need to worry about him. Yeah. Not knowing that I'm still the motherfucking head ringleader of shit. But I knew how to carry myself as a gentleman. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that masked whatever it is that I was into. And that's what I want for my sons. I want me to show them that I overcame the odds and I'm here for them. So when I seen that my son tried to trick me with some fake ass report card, and then I found out later that it was the real shit was not impressive at all. Yeah. I went out there to not only take my reward back from him, but I just wanted to speak to him and let him know that I love you and I'm here for you. What is it that I need to do to help you succeed and excel? Because you 16 already. You only got a year and a half more year to the way you now considered as a man, and you out there in the world, and these are when your real responsibilities is gonna happen. And I'm not gonna be obligated to pay your mom's money for you or give it to you anymore. I could be here to help you and all of that, but you're not gonna receive that financial backing from me as much as you was getting throughout your young life. Yeah. So I wanna help him to understand, like, yo, it's serious, and you gotta really hunker down and make it happen and come up with, and even if I gotta help you with something, even if I gotta bring you in and help you with the clothing line or show you how to work a camera or anything that you can prosper off of, and even having you on the show and you telling me about these different opportunities that they can do AI things with and different things of that sort. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like teaching them a trade. I want the best for my children, man, because I know it's an extra wall up for us young black men out here.
Oh man, let me tell you. Not only extra wall, you already got 2 strikes in as a black boy.
Right.
So phasing over into manhood, because I'm writing a book right now called Becoming a Classic Man.
Okay.
And
I'm a classic man.
Well, that's one of my hashtags, you know, not just because of the way I dress, but also the way I carry myself.
Right.
And my intention and my character.
Right.
So the classic man is an honorable mention, but there is an obligation that comes along with it.
Right. So
just throwing on a suit as a person with bad character is what I call a fraud.
Right.
All right.
And you would be right.
You know what I'm saying? And before you put on that suit, you should have the core value system structure, integrity, respect, honor, dignity, all of these characteristics that symbolize who you are as a man. You see what I'm saying? So now we go back to the rites of passage. Back in the days, you had to go out and kill a lion, you know, in order to phase over from boyhood to manhood in a village of Africa.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? In other places, you might have to kill a deer to bring it back home to feed the village. But there was a ritual form of rites of passage, which for you to properly phase over from boyhood to manhood. So now in our society today, we have an unlawful prospect of phasing over from boyhood to manhood, in a sense where you go to jail or you get shot and survive those 2 things. Now you have a false presentation of phasing over.
Right.
So now I'm gonna give you a perfect example. There was a kid that went to college and another kid from that same block that went to Rikers Island. The kid that went to college came home on spring break.
Right.
He was robbed and killed on that same block he grew up on. The kid that came home from Rikers got a block party. He got money to buy drugs. He got a whole package.
It's crazy that when somebody come home from jail, they're celebrated so much.
He was praised. Now the thing is this: the other kids are looking at both equations. Say, hold on, this guy got killed and robbed from coming home from college. And this other guy got rewarded for doing a little stint in jail.
Yep.
So they're looking at the rewards process here and deciding on which prospect they want to decide.
Exactly. And this is the exact reason why I went back to my son and I took back the money I gave him.
Yeah.
Like I'm not rewarding failure.
Yeah, you said that.
If you think you're gonna keep this money, because he said to me after we spoke and everything, and I hugged him up, I made him come over, I was like, give me a hug, because I love you, and I don't want to see you doing wrong and nothing like that. Yeah. But I'm not rewarding failure. When he walked off, he said, Dad, man, can I get my bread back? I said, absolutely not.
Yeah, because
absolutely
he has to understand, once again, there's no reward for that. And number 2, he got to make it right and also develop a conscious a level of understanding when it comes to somebody who loves you and wants your parents want to see you do better than anybody else you meet in your life. You're gonna meet some cool friends and all that stuff, but your parents, specifically your father, and when it comes to a son, because no other man is gonna want to see you win more than your father.
Exactly.
I don't care what nobody says, even if he wasn't in your life. A lot of times when they come around and later in your life, they have such a level of guilt and love at the same time that they say, man, I want to help you for what I couldn't do before now, even more. So that right there, and it's crazy because in your teenage years, it's like you got a domestic terrorist living in your house,
right?
Like somebody who's totally against everything that you do, but this is a hormonal phase that they go through. But it's
and we all go through it.
But guess what? At the end of the day, because right now, I never thought that I would tell my mother, thank you for whipping my ass when I was wrong. I never, when I was young, I could never imagine. But guess what? I said that already.
Yes.
And I really meant it.
Right.
Because I look back at all of the children that didn't get that ass whooping.
Yep.
And a lot of them are in jail. A lot of them are dead.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm glad now that I got it, because at the time when I was getting it,
you know, it's like, why the fuck, why she want to beat me for? You know what I mean? But it works. It works, and you'll always see things in hindsight. As you get older, you'll remember what happened to you when you was younger, and it'll make you a better person. Yeah. And that's just what it is. But look, James, I ain't gonna front. We chatted it up. Like my son always be like, yo, Dad, you chatting. Yeah, we chatted up, and we chatted up about you too, because I'm sure you be sneak watching me on your phone or whatever.
The Father loves you, brother. Yes, He loves you. Tough love is the best love.
To death. And I specifically didn't put hands on you that day because I wanted to talk to you, because I know you're a young man and you go through all of that stuff and you expected that from me. But I gave you your warning and I told you, and I'm gonna be on you and watching you about how you excel at school. And I'll be up at that school being real cool with your teachers and letting them see that I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? And anything goes wrong in there, they could call me. You know what I mean? Love you, son, for real. You know what I mean? Both of y'all, man. But just tell everybody where they can find you at. You know what I'm saying? And I want to have you up here again, like you said, recurring guest.
All platforms. Just matter of fact, you can just go on Google and type in James, James, letter C, letter B, like Chris Brown, C.B Gray, Gray. That right there will pull up everything. Or you could go straight to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I just launched my TikTok page.
Okay.
Is it TikTok?
You just got a TikTok page?
Oh, no, it's not TikTok. What's the other one?
LinkedIn, Linktree?
No, but LinkedIn is it's James C.B Gray too. Okay. And you can see my whole resume and everything. Yeah, it is TikTok. I just launched because everybody's like, yo, man, you know what they said? They said, listen, the stuff you do in real life, people are lying about on TikTok. So when I went on there, I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, this is cool, because this is stuff I really do, you know. Right. So I just got on TikTok. I don't have a lot of videos, but I think about like 8 or 9. But I'm putting.
Well, you're gonna start. It starts somewhere.
But on all the other platforms, you'll see my Black History Facts, my 365-day Black History campaign. All right. I'm also the vice president of the Harlem Historical Society too. We do a lot involving Black history, Black History Facts, Black History culture and information. But also, we do a lot of street namings. We did James Brown Way, 126th Street between Frederick Douglass and Clayton. We did Sylvia Woods Way on the corner of 126.
That's right over there where her restaurant is, right?
Yeah, right there on the corner of Lennox and 126. Yeah. We did, we're about to do, what's her name? I Rise. I Rise, Maya Angelou. Yeah, so we're about to do hers. And thanks to Dr. Aisha Sekou, who really helped petition for that to happen, you know. And also, of course, the president of the Harlem Historical Society. I want to give a special shout out to Jacob Morris, somebody who has built that institution over the years and is still doing good things.
Well, look, James, I appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm gonna have you on again because I feel like I'm like a very militant type of person when it comes to my peoples. Because when we speak the way we speak, other people be trying to say, oh, you're so militant and you're this, you're that. But it's okay for other nationalities to be focused on their people and doing things for their people. But when we want to speak up for our peoples and give opportunities for our peoples, then, oh, it's a problem. Or we being racist, or we're being anti-Semitic and all this other crap. No, we got to speak up for our peoples. There's nothing wrong with us being cool with all these other different nationalities and everything like that. But we got to speak up for our people because there's so many obstacles against us. So I'm always going to speak for us. So everything you're doing, I applaud you. I salute you. I'm happy you're here. And you can always come up here. If you got anything you're doing and you need to promote it, then we'll do it that way. Now that you're on TikTok, we can make 20 shorts of little things we set up here and repost it over and over again.
Send me, and I'll post them on my joint.
That's what we want to do.
I just want to thank you, brother, for having this platform. There's a lot of platforms that are going that don't touch the black issue.
You know why? Because they're under some big corporation that dictates what they can say. But here at S.STREET Media Studios, we can say what the fuck we want to say.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. Like I said, even though I'm a part of this organization over there, the thing is, and I used to tell people this all the time, I don't have to talk behind nobody's back. I don't have to try to disenfranchise nobody.
Right.
Because I speak the truth. And the truth shall set you free. So I don't have to talk bad about nobody.
Right.
If I say something about somebody that they might not like,
the truth hurts.
They might not like the truth.
The truth is always going to hurt.
It's so easy for me to speak what I have to speak because I speak the truth. And I said, you know what? As long as I'm speaking the truth, I have no fear
that will set
about
you free.
What nobody else feels about what I'm saying because I can back up everything I'm saying.
Yep.
Statistical data, video footage, or what I'm going to be able to back up what I'm saying. So that's why I never feared that. And if anybody has a problem with the truth, then that's on them. That's a reflection of your character or your obligation to someone whose agenda speaks against
right. Or you're just an insecure person and you're showing your insecurities.
Literally.
You know what I mean? So I thank you for being here. We're going to see y'all next week Sunday. Don't forget the Grindhard gear is out. If y'all want to get y'all jackets, y'all sweaters, y'all hats,
I want to talk to you about the Winner Circle.
Okay.
That could help you with what you're doing with the.
All right. Everything that you got going on, I want to be a part of it. We're going to make sure y'all going to see a lot more of me and James because also my high school friend that I went to high school with is his lady. So, you know what I mean? It's like I said, you know what I mean?
Amazing young lady.
Yes.
And she's
always been on her
I almost gave up on a black woman.
Yeah.
And this young lady really gave me a whole nother level of respect and confidence in our black women. So
she's always been a good person.
Just want to thank her for being great and for being riding with me on this journey.
That's what's up.
Thank you.
We're going to see y'all next week. It's your boy Worldarama. Grindhard out.
Right. Yeah. Peace.